Hey everyone, this is Vinny Venom, and this is Getting Into the Business, the music business that is episode 7. I am Vinny Venom, your host, music producer, remixer, songwriter, record label owner, apparel owner, entrepreneur, public figure. So let me start off by telling everyone thank you for all the love, all the support you've been giving me on my new music video channel show that everybody's been enjoying and contacting me and saying, "Hey, man, getting a lot of information from you, a lot of good suggestions, a lot of things, and just watching you do your thing um, is inspiring me to do what I need to do." And that's a great thing because that's what I'm looking to do. I'm looking to inspire people to do their own thing. You don't have to do my thing, but you could look at what I'm doing and take that and do your own ideas, your own concept, and build your own foundation and your own structure. It doesn't have to be mine, but I can give you certain palettes, like, you're mixing paints together in different colors, and you come up with your own colors also, and you mix your own palettes and come up with something that's going to fit what you're doing and your project. So, as you can see, I'm always coming up with different graphics and animation for my videos that are playing while I'm doing my audio recording on my show. And today I have one showing you the big mansion, the big yacht, the small boat next to it, um, all the girls hanging out in the mansion, the guy hanging on with the expensive suit, and everyone, the lion as a pet hanging out by the shore, helicopter cruising over, security, making sure and checking the perimeters and making sure that everything is a okay. And this is what people see and they want to achieve it because you see these things in movies, you see these things in TV shows, you see these things in commercials, you see them in music videos. And these are things that push people to try to get and achieve these achievements and goals. And if you ask me and you say, "Hey, Vin, is that possible for me?" Well, anything is possible in this world. If you want it bad enough, you can get it. That's what I always say. How do you do these things? Well, you start to train your brain. How do you train your brain? Well, if you want a Lamborghini Avento, okay, I actually was in the city yesterday and beautiful black. I believe it was 2000 and 2020. It wasn't this year's because the front bumper was different. Um, I believe it was a 2020, but don't quote me on that. And I saw the car and it was hot. It was fire. Car was amazing. So the guy said, "Man, nice car." He said, "Hey, man, thank you." But then you realize to have these toys that these people, that's what they call them. When I mean people, I mean the people in that caliber, because we all are people, okay? Like it or not, that's what our meaning is. We're people. So imagine what he has to do to maintain that car. All right, the insurance that he has to pay is not like normal insurance that anyone pays for a normal car. You're paying for a high end performance car that is worth possibly, don't quote me on that, maybe 250,000 to 300,000 to 350,000 possibly. Um, I don't know the numbers offhand, but that's the numbers that usually Lamborghinis run on that price range. So then you have to understand oil changes and different things if you're driving the car because the car is really low to the ground. And if the car gets messed up or off balance and all these things, you're not paying $100. You're not paying $300. You're paying thousands of dollars. Um, so a lot of people, they want these cars, but not knowing what has to do with these cars and keeping up on them and keeping them running perfect and looking sharp and all these other things. So it doesn't have to be cars. A lot of people are into cars because cars are something that shows the magnitude of success. You know what I mean? If you're driving around a Lamborghini, If you're driving around in a Rolls Dawn or a Phantom, driving have a one or two huge yachts, all these cigarette, living off, off the water, in a big mansion, having your own private beach and all these other things that you see in these movies that people make into a stable, and they want that to be part of their environment. How is it possible? So you have to understand, if you're doing things in that nature, you have to be doing some serious, constantly hustling. Okay. um, as a producer, how do you achieve these goals? Well, you have to make a lot of hit records. You have to get noticed from a lot of big people that want you to do work for them. They want you to produce their album or their next single, and vice versa. And then on top of that, you have to make yourself noticed, something that has a signature, a brand, and people know who you are by the way you look, the way you precede yourself. If you come up like I have, um, two masks that I have the Vinny Venom mask and I have the My Pussycat mask. And on top of these things, you also have to protect the brand and your signature, and you do that by trademarks. If anybody needs a trademark person, hit me up, DM me, and I will give you my personal, um, trademark guy, Hagen. And I actually asked him if it was okay, and he said yes, definitely mention my name. So hit me up, and I will give you an amazing, trademark company, and the person that handles my trademarks and everything else, my branding and everything. Then after that, you have to come up with something that's going to, people, when they see it, they organize it as automatically it's part of you, or it is you, and so on. So, how do you do that? Well, you have to come up with a hot logo. You have to come up with hot fonts to your name. You have to come up with all these amazing things that people are going to recognize as this being you. Okay. So, you have to understand, like I showed you in this video, right? To have and to maintain all these things, okay? It's a constantly money moving situation, okay? Because there's a lot of keeping up with these things. It's not something, if you have a mansion, you have to have a lot of people taking care of it, cleaning it, being on top of things, a gardener, because you have magnitude of property, person cutting the lawn, another person cutting the bushes, trimming the bushes, keeping the lawn looking amazing, a pool person that filters the pool and cleans it, and shocks it. When I mean shock it, making sure that the chlorine and everything is in the pool and whatnot. So that takes a lot of money and a lot of, um, time. Okay, so you have to understand, when you want something, you have to understand there's other things that accumulated with also these things that you trying to achieve. Because if you see all these people that have all these things, they didn't just do this overnight. I mean, they worked years and years to achieve this, and they started coming out with a regiment, a routine, something that they eventually comes natural to them. Okay. So you have to figure out where you need to be, where you're at right now, and where you need to be, and what's going to take you to where you want to be. And that's a lot of work, a lot of hard work, and a lot of figuring out what you have to do. And then you have to become to the point where you see all these, these NBA players and NFL players, LMB players, and all these, people in the sporting industry, endorsements, sponsors, and whatnot, because that's income for you. Now, as a music producer, right? You're working with artists, right? But you also have to understand, you could also make a lot of money if you put that talent into other projects, like movie projects, TV projects, doing stuff for Netflix, doing stuff for HBO Prime, doing stuff for Star. But before you get to that level, people need to recognize you for your work and want you to be involved in what they're putting together. Okay. And that takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of recognition. It means a lot of people have to talk highly about you and say, hey, this person is bringing out fire. We want him in our next movie project. We want him in our next TV show. Um, or we're working on. And I'll ask you, I have a lot of things going on. I'm working with some big movies, a lot of superhero movies and stuff. But I had to put myself out there. If you don't put yourself out there, you're not going to be seen. You're not going to be heard. So try to do the best you can on trying to circle yourself around situations that might benefit you at the end. Okay. Don't be afraid to make some moves, because if you don't make no moves, nothing's ever going to happen for you. So that's another thing. A lot of people are afraid of making moves because they're afraid of failure. Okay. And let me bring this up to you again. You have to fail a couple of times to realize your mistakes and your errors, and that's going to make you grow. And figuring out your mistakes is going to help you succeed. So don't be afraid of failing. Okay. The question is, never give up, never quit, because once you quit, then you're basically shutting the door onto whatever you're trying to achieve, and the success goes out the window. So remember, there's a saying, Rome is not built in a day. It's just truth. Everything is not built in a day. It takes time. If somebody's building a building, they have to have blueprints, they have to have architects, they have to have engineers, they have to make sure the foundation is correct, to make sure nothing's going to fall, things are going to be, fine and firm. The beams that they're putting on there are not, defected, and all these things have to be checked before they put up these huge skyscrapers and everything else. And that takes time. Don't be in a rush. Okay. Everyone sees me and my song is getting played on the radio and I'm number one. And that takes a lot of work, a lot of time. Figuring out, you know, I had to endure people not knowing who I was, and they didn't even care about what I was putting out because they never don't know who I was. They're like, who is this guy? I don't know who this person is. But once people start getting used to you and putting out good music and good videos, it doesn't have to be music, it could be anything that you're doing, and you're doing it in the level of a professional and a person that's putting out quality work. Remember what I always say: quality, consistency, quality, quantity, and consistency. These are the three things that you have to remember. You have to bring out quality, quantity, and consistency. So, whatever project you're doing, you have to give it your all. Don't just go into something halfway. Go in all the way or don't go in at all. So, a lot of people don't know, but before I was a music producer, a remixer, and a songwriter, I was a rapper. Okay. And I actually started rapping, just off the bat. And then I started seeing everybody battling each other. And I said, you know what? I think I'm good enough to do this. And sure enough, I was. I was actually blowing people away, and people were like, holy shit, he really knows what he's doing. So, and then a lot of people that started following me on social media, and I used to do my show prior to this show, and they used to hear me rap, and they're like, wow, Vinny really knows I never knew he knew how to rap. I never knew he can do that. Wow, that's something new to me. So that's something that people will remember me now for everything else that I do, but they didn't have no idea that my foundation was originally as a rapper. I never sang, I tried, I was horrible. And actually, I remember Rick Ben Shooten telling me, "Hey, man, stick to what you know best. The producing and the rapping. Leave the singing to the experts." And I said, "Yeah, absolutely." But I tried it. It didn't work out for me, but at least I tried it. You never know something you're good at until you try it. And if you're not good at it, you can't be good at everything. Some people are and they're lucky, and some people are not. Some people are just lucky in one thing that they do, and that one thing that they do, they perfect it to the level that people notice it right away and they take it as something that's so out of this world that, then they talk about you and they want you involved in their own projects. And I collabed with a lot of producers a couple of years ago, and recently I haven't collabed with anybody. I'm basically doing everything myself, from the mastering and mixing and whatnot. That's the other thing, guys. If you need someone to master and mix your music, check out my tracks. If you like what you're hearing, DM me and I will give you my pricing for mixing and mastering. And let me know what you need. And if I can help you, I will definitely get back to you, and we could definitely talk about an arrangement and how we can get things situated for you and move on. So, the other thing I'm going to bring up to you, and this is something that, I've actually learned from experience, and I'm going to bring this up to you. Um, you know, I always tell people, don't take it personal. It's just business. Now, let me explain to you what the difference is from personal and business, okay? If someone insults you, right, personally, okay, and says things about you or your family, that's something personal. That's something connected to you, okay? When it's business, of course, it's nothing related to you. It is in a way, but it's not as hurtful as being personal, because that person is taking aim on you, not taking aiming on your company. So when you're working with somebody, I learn now, we live and we learn and we figure out things as we go, and that's what life's about. And a lot of people start realizing these things. We have to make mistakes to achieve, what we did. We have to correct it, and we don't have to see those mistakes ever again. Unfortunately, people constantly, sometimes do make those mistakes over and over, and they never learn. They keep repeating, history, and that's not a good thing. So if you gotta understand, if something didn't work out and it continues not working out, it's never going to work out. Just move on and figure out what the next game plan is. So what I was saying is, I've helped people, and I've always been a good person and whatnot. But also, you have to understand, when you do work, right? It's time taken away from you, right? It's also, if you're working on your computer, or you're leaving away from your own doings, right, to work on somebody, you want to be taken care of, right? Of course. Um, and that's something that I've learned now, more than anything else before, because there's, like I said, personal, and then there's business, right? If I'm going to do something for you on that level, it has nothing to do with personal anymore. It has to do with business, okay? So in business, people get paid for their what they contribute in whatever they're doing. If they're doing music for you, if they're doing writing a song for you, if they're putting together graphics for you, they're putting logos together for you, coming up with, backgrounds and everything else for you. That's time taken away from that person doing their own personal things to concentrate on your um, situation and your personal things that you want done and how you want them done. So you have to understand that sometimes, you can't just do stuff, for nothing. You have to be paid for it. And I actually learned from that more than anything else, because sometimes when you do something for so many people, they always think that everything that you're going to do for them is not, it's always going to be for nothing. um Everything costs. Time is one thing that we have, but we could never get it back. So you have to understand, electricity is costly. Okay, working on the computer, and especially working on music or working on graphics, that's electricity that's being used for not your project, but for someone else's project. So you have to understand that that's money that's coming out of your pocket to pay for the time that you're consuming to working on someone else's work. So it's a job. And when you do a job, you want to be paid for it. So you have to figure that out and explain to them in the beginning and say, hey, even though sometimes you say, you know what, you're friends, or then you cut them a break, but you always have to let them know that you are getting paid for the service that you are implementing for them, so they understand that off the bat. Because then, unfortunately, a lot of people are going to expect you doing stuff for them and taking time away from you and just doing it for nothing all the time. And that's not how it works. A lot of people do think it's going to work that way, but you have to explain to them and say, listen, my time is money, okay? And unfortunately, I like to get paid for what I'm doing for you, and actually explain to them what you are doing, and let them understand. Say, listen, if you went out of someone else to do this project for you, you can see the price range of what they charge, for mixing and mastering, or editing, or um, doing discographies, or putting together a, a placement video for you, or something for an advertisement, or a demo, or promo. These things are costly, so you have to understand I have to be taken care of and getting paid for my service. Just like if you did something for someone, you would want to get paid. So I would like to get paid also, and explain to them that you are going to give them a project and give them an idea of what it sounds like. Sad to say, I've heard a lot of people say stuff like, "Yo, man, I did work for somebody, and and I gave them the project. I didn't give them a stem, or I didn't. This is people that mastered or mixed something, and then the person just flaked out on me and just didn't want to pay me. I spent time in working and getting stuff perfect for the person, and I actually trusted the person, and I put the stuff out there, and thinking that the person was gonna send my money to my PayPal or my Vimo or whatever. Never did. Person just basically phantom out on me, ghost on me. Um, what do you think I should do? I said, well, next time, this is a learning curve. Now you know that before you send something to someone, put a lining underneath it, and then you hear a lot of these sampling companies that do that, master the stuff perfect as it sound, but put a lining underneath it and say, hey man, this is what it sounds like. The lining's underneath it for a reason. Once the money's deposited in my account, if you look at companies like Fiverr and all these other companies, they do that. They'll send you a um, they won't send you the original at first. They'll send you a demo, and the demo, whatever, will be graphics or whatever, and they'll have all these things on it that says Fiverr on it, Fiverr on it, Fiverr on it, and the project graphic and art cover, or album cover, jacket, or whatever, will be underneath it, so you can see the work is done once you pay them, right? Well, you're paying them from the beginning, but other services is different. Once you agree on what you like and what you see, then the person will send you the original. But other people, besides companies like that, I'm just giving you examples. But these are companies that, if you don't know what you're doing and you can't do it yourself, like I do everything myself, then you could hire companies like that, and you can just work around it and see and explain to them, say, this is my price range, this is what I need done. Try to give them the best possible information you can give them. If you can send them clips, or you can send them YouTube videos, so they have something to work with, that'll make it easier for them. But like I said, I had someone say to me, hey man, I did a project for somebody, and the guy stiffed me, and that's not cool, and whatever. It's going to happen in life. This is what happens. But you have to realize that you have to do things smart. Work hard, but work smarter. So these are things that you need to understand, that honestly, sad to say, I actually realize there's good and there's bad. And a lot of people always say to me, hey man, don't you think there's a lot more bad than good? Unfortunately, you're correct. There is, but you have to be the better person, and you have to be the better good person. And I always say, eventually there's something called karma, and it does come back, and sometimes it doesn't come back to you, it comes back to someone you really care about. So you have to be really careful about that, because sometimes when something is really bad and they know it's bad, and nothing can change it, but other people care about other things more than their own selves, that's the people that get the bad end of the stick. So always remember that, and then you see these people, sad to say, and you're saying, hey man, I'm gonna change my whole lifestyle, I'm gonna be a better person and this and that. But meanwhile, their whole life they did some really awful things. They took advantage of people financially, personally, physically. So these are things you have to set back and remember. Not today, not tomorrow. Sad to say, it always comes back to you. So always be a good person and try to be that person that tries to help as best they can. If you could help somebody and you want to help them, then help them. If you don't think you could help them, or you have no way of helping them, then understandable. Then you just, try to help persons as best as you can. If you can't go all the way, at least you're showing some kind of situation that you are trying to be the best person and trying to help the person as best you can at that, whatever you can do at that moment. So these are things that you have to understand. And so I'm trying to give people an outline on how things work, on what needs to get done, and how do you do things. Okay. As you can see, and when I post things up, you'll see people, some really high end people commenting and liking my stuff because I'm constantly putting out quality stuff. And since the funny thing about it is a lot of people say, hey man, I haven't seen you on social media. You're not, I'm doing stuff underneath the radar. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be always, in your face. You know what I'm saying? But when I do it, I actually, if you don't see me for a while, I'm either working on music or I'm working on a video or I'm working on something on the DL. I mean, the down low. I'm not actually advertising it yet because it's not actually completed or haven't got started yet. It's in the works. So these are things that you have to recognize that, you don't always have to be in the limelight. You could always be out in the shadows, shadows out and about doing your thing. And then once everything is done, then you pronounce it and show people what you did. Simple as that. I'm gonna leave you with a wrap. And like I said, send me your work. I will listen to it. If I like it, I will definitely put you on my countdown list. I've done it on episode you could check out. You'll see I put people's links of what they have going on themselves. Um, and like I said, I'll listen to it. I won't be able to play the music because of, you know, uh, the copy infringement and all those situations that come up. But I'll actually mention you and show your artwork and tell people to take a listen to your stuff and follow you and like your stuff because I actually think it's really, really good. And I definitely see you going places. And that's it. I'll leave you with a wrap and then just wait for episode 8 that will possibly be done the following Friday. I try to do things, like I said, I said I was going to do everything, set everything in motion every Tuesday. But as you can see, today is we're at 12 o'clock already. So we're at Friday. So today's Friday. And I always said I would put it out on Friday. And it seems like Friday is what I've been doing. But if I don't put it out on Friday, I will put it out during the week, um, before the week ends. A lot of things comes up in people's lives. And unfortunately, not everything gets done at that moment. So just understand where I'm coming from and where things are at that situation in time. So let me leave you with a wrap, and then I'm going to thank you for tuning in. Definitely share, like, um, definitely hit the like button because that will bring up the algorithms. Definitely share this channel to people that are looking to do what you're doing and just to give people an insight on where things need to be and where they need to go. I'm going to give you more and more information as we go. Um, Trying to give people an understanding about how things work and how I situated things and how I've been getting stuff happening for myself and then how to situate those things to you. And certain things might not be related to you at that moment, but eventually they will. And we will talk about how we get to that moment for you guys, and girls, because I know some amazing girl producers that are phenomenal. It's not just about us guys, it's about all of us in general. So just remember that. So let me leave you with this rap and then I'm going to head out. As you know, success is true. Understand it's all about things that come riches and gold to you. Driving around in helicopters and jet Lear jets. These are the serious lines of what we set. We go through things in life every single day. The struggles, the heartaches, the pains. It's true. Certain things are hot and cold, but are related to you. Understand the trials and tribulations and the devastations of situations and creations. But understand things might come harder to others than others to you. But understand you has to hustle and grind to make those things absolutely emerge to you. The hustle and grinding of life is true. Things are hard. Driving around in a Lamborghini or a Ferrari or a Don, maybe that'll come back to you. Understand the heartache and the pain and the hustling that you do and the strain. Things that relate to you that will drive you insane. And of course, it's something that you have to understand you never need to blame. Well, what you do, whatever you do, and how you do it is true. Give everything what you do and put your heart and soul through, and everything will come back like gorilla glue. Understand the struggle and heartache every single day, and all the things that I do and I implement in my mind each and every day. But things that you might do might not be related to me in any way because you're not at that level of the situation. Unfortunately, not this moment, this month, this year, or this day. So understand I had to go to one level to another to get where I am. Understand this is the truth and this is what I have to say to you. Might take time to actually see these things actually come true for you. So don't despair. Understand what I say. Understand that things might happen not tomorrow, but they will happen to you someday. All right, guys, I'm out. Thank you for tuning in. This is Getting Into the Business, the music business that is. Episode 7. I am Vinny Venom, your host. Thank you for tuning in, and I will check you out next week with a new episode and some more information for you. Like I said, definitely like, share, and definitely subscribe. I will really appreciate it. Thank you for the love and the support. Stay healthy, stay strong, be positive, and just keep doing what you're doing. Take care.
BeatCutterz Music.
I'm breaking down cause my jealousy gets the best of me. If this keeps